Good day. This presentation is on turfgrass roots. The function of roots includes stabilization of the plant in the soil and are the primary means by which the turfgrass absorb water and nutrients. I do want to take a moment and thank Dr. A.J. Turgeon for providing me with the root drawings used in this presentation. Dr. Turgeon is Professor Emeritus at the Pennsylvania State University. Grasses have two types of root systems. The first are the seminal, sometimes called primary roots, that develop from the seed embryo during germination. The seminal roots are shown here on this seed germination blotter, with a couple of them pointed out by the yellow arrows. The primary or seminal roots usually are gone within 6 months from germination. The second type are the adventitious roots, or sometimes referred to as secondary or nodal roots, which begin to form soon after the first leaf emerges from the coleoptile following seed germination, and subsequent formation occurs from lower nodes of rhizomes and stolons. Looking at the seed on the right, the first roots to emerge are the seminal roots, which will be followed by adventitious roots once the first leaf emerges from the coleoptile. The coleoptile is the pointed protective sheath covering the emerging shoot in grasses. Adventitious roots have a lifespan as long as that of the shoot they support. However, unfavorable climatic stresses and unfavorable soil conditions may cause death of roots while the shoots survive. This is most likely to occur with cool season turf grasses during summer stress conditions. The root is an organized arrangement of cells produced by division of the meristematic cells located just behind the root cap. Meristematic cells of the root meristem replenish the root cap and provide for tip growth of the root itself. Following division, the new cells elongate, pushing the root cap through the soil. The root cap functions as a protective shield for the root tip and the meristematic cells that are dividing and growing the root. Root hairs form off the epidermis and are single-cell branches. The greatest amount of water absorbed by roots is via the root hairs. Root hairs are located in the zone of maturation, not in the zone of elongation. If they were located in the zone of elongation, the hairs would be continually sheared off from cells elongating. Root hairs last 2 to 3 weeks under normal conditions for root growth. If we look at the cross-section of the root, we first see the epidermis layer that surrounds the root and gives rise to root hairs. Root hairs do not branch off nor intermingle with each other. The cortex is tissue of unspecialized cells lying between the epidermis and the conducting tissues of the roots and stems known as the stele. The endodermis is the innermost layer of the cortex and is the boundary between the cortex and the stele. The outer endodermal cells are impregnated with water-repelling or hydrophobic substances. This is known as a Casparian strip. The Casparian strip restricts free flow of water and nutrients to the stele. The stele is the central core of the root. The stele is comprised of the xylem, the phloem, and other supporting structures. Here's a longitudinal look at the root. The only thing that stands out different from the cross-section is the term ProtoXylem. ProtoXylem forms early in a young root development and is structurally smaller than the more mature xylem development, which is known as the secondary xylem. The transport of water, nutrients, and photostimulates occurs via the xylem and the phloem. Here we are looking at a PhotoMicrograph of a root with root hairs growing in sand. As you proceed through the class, the impact of soil temperatures, lack of oxygen, and salt accumulation as stresses to root growth will be highlighted, as well as cultural practices that affect root growth. Here's a list of a few of the practices that limit root growth. Roots are important in maintaining a healthy turf. I often hear managers saying, "We grow roots." A deep, dense root system is the key to maintaining a healthy turf.